Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we have 3 new FINCH models, and these things are really cool. I love FINCH models. I think that FINCH does an incredible job. This one right here is the McCOY, and you know, with FINCH, let me move these boxes. We'll check those ones out here in a second. With FINCH models, man, they have a very high quality feel to them that feels, you understand the price because it's not like they're super expensive or anything. They're very, very reasonable, but you know, you understand the price because they are really, really good and they're very well done. You know, the finishing work, the detents are always, I don't think I felt a FINCH yet that didn't have just like the most perfect detent, even including this one. I mean, this thing is so snappy. And then check this out. You got a fuller that you can easily reverse flick. I mean, easily. And this is not a big knife. This is a small, compact knife with a Wharncliffe blade and 154 cm blade steel. Nice stone-washed finish. Actually has a satin on the flats and then a stone-washed finish on the grind. The handle material is, what is it, ivory micarta or something like that? I'll put it up on the screen. It is a type of white micarta, and it feels almost like bone, but it feels good. It feels like a paper micarta, I guess. I've seen some other companies use a little bit of other colors like red and stuff. Then we have a steel liner lock, and you can see we have basically the pommel is the steel liners. So you have the overlays are the micarta. Good access to the lock bar. They gave you good texturing there. And it is very, very smooth. Like, you don't expect a light blade like this to be this smooth. And damn it, that detent is good. You have a glass shield right here. It might be crystal. It's either crystal or glass, but it will glow. So if you put a light on it, or if it's, you know, been in light, then when you turn off the lights, you will see it glowing. Then we have a titanium mill pocket clip that suits the knife pretty well. I think it's an attractive little compact knife. As far as use goes and stuff, this is a, you know, pinch grip knife, something you're going to use to open things up. However, you can use it in any fashion as far as direction goes. If I was going to give you some negatives, the one thing I would say is the sharp control and plunge grind. I wish that was a little bit better. I can tell when I go to sharpen it, I will hit the plunge grind and it will create a little smile, meaning I'm going to hit the thicker area right here with my stone, and you're going to see that. Not that big of a deal, but they did put the stop pin right there, which makes it impossible for me to cut in my own choil. So that would be my biggest negative. Not even just the sharpening choil, but the fact that they have a stop pin right there. Now, I don't think it's going to affect you with sharpening because it is in the thicker portion, and typically you're not going to sharpen that part out, but it is close though. It is close, but I think, you know, as long as you're sharpening up the blade, I think it'll be just fine. And, you know, by that time, there's no way you wouldn't have got your money out of this knife by that time. But I like to think that a knife should be able to be sharpened over and over and over and over and over for a very long time. The next one is the new Nocturnal. And as you can see, the Nocturnal has a mirror polished. You can tell it's like a hand satin mirror polished blade in 14C 28N. They picked a perfect steel to put a polish on. This is a beautiful knife to me. I freaking love this. I actually carried this downtown when I went to meet up with my buddy who came in town from Alabama. We met up downtown, and I live, you know, in Chicago, and this is what I was carrying. And I love this blade shape. It's somewhat of like almost like a harpoon Wharncliffe blade, just absolutely gorgeous with this beautiful carbon fiber. You got the shield that glows once again, and a titanium mill pocket clip that definitely works. Like, it looks good on this knife. It's attractive with the whole design influence. This is a good size knife, meaning like for a compact knife, I'm locked in right here. I like how it tapers from slimmer to thicker, so I can get a good pinch right here, and then my pinky and my ring finger get to sink that right into my palm, and I feel locked in. I feel like I have great control over this. And then you can always choke up if you really need to get some fine detail work in. This is going to be mostly a pinch grip knife, you know, something you use to open things up and just do, you know, minor cuts that you need to do here and there. But it's going to do it well. The action, again, man, they always do the detents. If it's a FINCH, it's got a perfect detent. That's all I got to say. If it's a FINCH, you can guarantee it's got a perfect detent. At least every single one I have tried. It is super smooth on the drop. I'm guessing they polished all back here too, because it feels like it. Like it feels like it's rolling on wet glass. It is so smooth. Like I feel zero bearing rolling, zero. And the flipper tab's nice and comfortable. They did put some jimping there, but yeah, super snappy. Now the fingerprinty blade is just something that comes with the territory of a polished blade. Granted, it's not that bad. I love it, so I'm not going to complain about it. But you know, it is a negative to some extent that you're going to put fingerprints on it. The access to the lock bar is good. They got good texturing. Very easy to disengage, very easy to get past the detent. They always do or usually they use their detents nice and early. So you see that, so you can always get past it, which is always really nice. I freaking dig this one. And this one, sharpening choil, is good because you can see the plunge line starts here and it ends right there. So they did give you some life to sharpen off of it, which is all I want. I just want, give me some room to sharpen and I'm happy. This one, they did a good job. I got room to sharpen. And, you know, this would look pretty cool with a mirror polished edge. I don't know though, because of the mirror polished blade, I almost feel like maybe a low angle toothy edge might look cool. But I don't know, man. I think because it's a mirror polish and just the way it looks, I think adding a nice low edge angle, so meaning a big bevel that's a mirror polished finish, that might look sick. We might just do that. I might just have to do that. All in all, zero complaints. I have zero complaints. The clip works good. You know, the blade cuts really well. The only thing I could say, like a slight negative, and I don't even want to call it a negative because I can easily fix it, but it is a knife. But the edge could have been a little bit sharper. You know, it feels a little slick. It feels like, but I expect that because of the polished finish. I don't know. I'm guessing that they polished it and then sharpened, but either way though, I mean, this thing is going to cut like a champ with that mirror polish because it's smooth and slick. It's going to prevent corrosion resistance a lot better. Just so many, there's a lot of great qualities with a polished finish as far as resisting corrosion, passing through materials and things like that. But the negative side is always going to be, it is fingerprinty. So, you know, you got to take the good with the bad. Let's get to the next one. Now the next one is the RUNTLY XL. I freaking love this thing. I cannot believe how guillotine this thing is. Again, we already talked about it. The detent, we already know it's perfect. The name's FINCH, it's got a perfect detent. But, and you can also flick off the fuller too, and it works really well. But my goodness, look it up. This thing just, and it is rock solid. So to have that type of action, you don't expect it when you deploy it. Like you deploy it and then when you go to disengage, it almost shocks you at first. You're like, whoa, that thing is smooth. I mean, this thing is like collapsing guillotine. I mean, just straight dropping, and you can feel the weight of the blade picks up the pace like towards the bottom where like you can feel like the recoil of it hitting. The jimping on the flipper, done extremely well. I mean, this thing just flicks so good, or sorry, flips so good. Then you have the nail nick that you could use like this, right? But if you use it like this, it works so good. The blade's hanging out and they put a nice sharp edge on this on purpose. I know they did that on purpose. It is very sharp, so it's very easy. It's grippy. It basically catches your finger. Then we have the satin and stonewash finish on an M390 blade. A little bit of both. We have a hand satin going this way and then a stonewashed finish. Then we have, it is a titanium bolster lock with beautiful micarta. Love this micarta. I can tell this stuff is going to turn a rich brown over time. It has a titanium mill pocket clip and backspacer with a steel lock bar insert. Amazing access to that lock bar. Again, look at how easy it is to get past that detent. Like, it's just, the detent is literally right there. So you're always past it when you disengage. And then look at that drop, man. It's like, it's so rapid. And that detent for the flipper tab is heavy in a good way though. Like you can tell, man, this thing was tuned to perfection when it comes to the detent because it just works so perfect for the flipper and the nail nick. The ergonomics, it's a stumpy little guy, you know, the RUNTLY, but I'm very comfortable here. Very, very comfortable. And if I wanted to, I could easily choke up, and I'm super comfortable here too. So I think the ergos are good. I typically don't like going from thicker to slimmer. I'd rather go slimmer to thicker, but this works good because it's a good thickness, so you're not compromising anything here in the back end. Pinch grips are going to be amazing. You know, you have a lot of knife to pinch onto, so you know you can score it or use it any direction for the most part. I think it's a good looking knife. It's definitely attractive. This sheep's foot blade with a straight edge is just, it's going to function like a champ. And if you look, it kind of arches down a little bit. So what's going to happen is when you're cutting with it, it will actually trap materials similar to like a recurve because the edge is canting downward. So when I'm cutting, right, it's going to keep itself into that cut. Wharncliffes already keep themselves into the cut all the way out to the tip. So you're going to have the same amount of power here as you do here with your cut, as far as, you know, the generating power going through a cut. So, and the fact that it's a little bit angled means that, you know, it's going to just stay in that cut even better because the material is going to be forced to, in this direction. Anyways, negatives. Well, one, you can tell all of these are riding on ceramic cage bearings. Every single one of them, you can tell they're so smooth. So I love, love, love that. The one negative I can say is, again, the sharpening tool and plunge grind. They put a tapering plunge grind that literally goes from here to right behind the edge bevel. So it doesn't have a smile yet, but my goodness, it will once I sharpen it one time. Because when I sharpen it, my edge bevel is going to be about that big when I'm done because I lower back my edge angle, which will cut directly into this corner. Now, some people, they might not care about that. I just look at it as, why not? Why not move it out of the way to make it easier for me to sharpen, make it less likely to be ugly, more likely to be easier to sharpen, and because hitting that area when it winds up hitting the plunge grind, excuse me, can be very difficult, and it winds up making it to where it can take you a lot longer to hit that area, so you wind up removing more steel than you'd want. I don't think that'll be the case with this one, but it's still, you know, it's just something that's like, man, just do a good choil and then everything will be just fine. Anyways, all in all, I freaking dig this thing a lot. Every single one of these knives I love. I absolutely love. Finch knives have always impressed me. I have a few of them and I dig them all. This one does not have the shield, by the way, which I found interesting because all the Finch models I've tried so far, I believe, have a shield, except for this one. Anyways, but yeah, no other negatives besides that one. I mean, the clip maybe could have a little bit more room underneath it, but I haven't had any issues with it. All in all, it's a badass knife. So there you guys go. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.